There we go. Welcome everybody to the first webinar of 2024. Should be a really exciting one today to hopefully take you through some tech and how the sort of tech within hospitality can hopefully help your teams with some of their challenges today. I think it's always an interesting topic talking about tech with hospitality, because I think hospitality in itself is very much a people business. So I think people can often get their backs up a little bit and worry a little bit about how tech can obviously take over from that, which is obviously not what we want to do. But we'll come on to that in a little bit later on. But what I'm going to just do now is I think we should probably do some introductions. So let me just share my screen, and hopefully we can do some introductions. So myself, for anybody that is watching and doesn't know who I am Jonny Ballance. I'm part of the commercial team here at MAPAL Group. I've been working here for about 5 years, and I'm joined with a lovely colleague today, and I'll let him do his own introduction. But Bernardo.
Hi, Jonny. This is Bernardo Montero. I'm the co-founder of MAPAL Engagement, a former good job since it was created almost 10 years ago. And yeah, and since then we've been basically working really hard, helping companies to develop different type of people-centric strategies, which has to do a lot with how to engage people, with how at the end of the day, hospitality is it's a nice industry because it's a fun industry at the end of the day. And what we are expecting always as users in this industry is to have a really good experience, and it has to do a lot with the people we interact with. So it's definitely a really interesting topic. It's been a really hot topic in the past years, and even with technology coming in, with all the things that we are seeing, it's still a people industry, and it's really interesting how you can combine that people strategies with technology to make things happen.
Absolutely, 100%. I couldn't agree more. I think that the traditional sort of corporate tech that you sort of see in businesses doesn't work for hospitality, because at the end of the day, hospitality is a fun industry to work in and to be a part of. So hopefully today we'll be able to sort of shine some light, or you will be able to shine some light, Bernardo, on some of the bits which might be able to help some of those team challenges. Which again, but let's start at the very beginning, I guess. So what are the sort of current challenges in the industry? I think you sort of mentioned that there, Bernardo, that there's been a few which have been going on, and certainly when I've gone out to conferences and when I meet a lot of customers, it's the same things that tend to be coming up, certainly around tension and turnover. But if we actually look at some of the key figures then in terms of what is creating this perfect storm, if you like, not just in hospitality but across it seems most industries, is that turnover is really high. Now this probably comes from a little bit of an element of post-COVID. We're now obviously seeing in the UK a lot more of cost of living crisis, which probably adds in a little bit more to this. But you can see that the almost hard-hitting fact there that within the hospitality industry, it's the highest turnover in the UK. So it's definitely an issue which I'm sure everybody that's on the call will be able to resonate with, and has probably heard a lot about from industry news and whatnot. But I think the one which really sticks out to me is this fact here, is that 77% of people are unhappy in their job, and that was only end of 2022. So really tells you that people aren't particularly happy in what they're doing. They want to move on, maybe because of the inflation or cost of living crisis. They can't necessarily move on to that extra job, or to move on to something which resonates a little bit more to them. Which then obviously, what's the consequence of this is that it's costing businesses money at the end of the day. So here's a fact: £14,500 on average to replace an employee, but that can range anywhere from 30 to 200% of their annual salary. And it's not just about that recruitment cost or the advertising costs that often can get attributed to that. It's also part of that loss of productivity. I'm sure everybody knows the saying, happy teams, happy business. It's the same. If you've got unhappy people, their productivity is going to be worse. They're not buying into the brand. They're not getting involved with everything, and then that's having that sort of knock-on effect, which ultimately is going to be affecting that bottom line. So I think to sort of summarize where we're at is, as an industry, Bernardo, then I think, would you agree that it's probably the lack of engagement of people buying into the brand, that loss of productivity, and then it's probably almost having that knock-on effect to the high turnover. Would you agree that these are two issues from your knowledge and experience?
Absolutely, and just on what you mentioned, reality has really turned things even a bit more difficult in the last years, as you've said. I mean, this is a reality. This is the actual figures that we see. People have completely changed the minds in terms of how they perceive work, how they want to work. That's again reality. So we have to definitely adapt and understand what's going on. And I mean, we cannot solve every simple thing, but we have to at least to try to be there. So as you were mentioning, all those numbers, which are a bit scary at some point. I was recalling. I talked to a friend last week. He owns a few restaurants and a hotel here in Madrid, and he was basically telling me, I mean, today I have such a big issue when I need people that, to be honest, if they arrive to the interview, they are in. I mean, that's basically how I'm recruiting. I was like, I mean, are you kidding me? That's a real situation. So my point here is that it's even more important than ever that when you have to work with them, and you have to try to avoid as much as you can people leaving, and even more good people leaving, because that's the other problem. We talk about lack of engagement and extremely high turnover, which I completely agree. They are probably the main issues, the main symptoms that we can see today in the industry. They are two different things, but they are absolutely correlated, of course. The bad news when you don't really have engagement with your people is that I mean, you talk a lot to customers in the industry. I guess you are getting always the same answers. Very bad internal communication, which is always an issue. No sense of belonging. Nobody has the relevant information when they need it. I mean, a lot of different things that at the end of the day, it happens that people decide to leave and move to other place. That's as you were saying, it's really costly. But even if they decide not to leave, you don't want to have people that are not really performing. And sometimes not even it's their fault. It's our fault, as organizations, as managers, as we have to be the ones really sponsoring and leading all these initiatives if we really want to change things. So I mean, completely agree, and I'm pretty sure most of people would agree that this is the situation today, and that's the one we have to face. So I guess the really important thing here is okay, is there really a solution, to all these issues that we are seeing? In this sense, I mean, I in my experience and the good news, in my opinion, is this: yes, there's a solution. Of course, no solution is perfect, and probably not the same solution. It's okay for different people, different organizations, but there's a solution, and that's again my point, that we have to commit, because the good news is that yes, there's a solution, and it's pretty simple, and don't get me wrong, it's simple in the meaning that it's not rocket science. And we're gonna see some ways to do it, some examples, real cases. It's not rocket science, but what reality shows is that not being rocket science, it's not easy to execute if you don't really commit to it as an organization, as leaders. So pretty similar, if you want. if I want to get in good shape, and I start to work out, I start to go to the gym after years without doing anything. If what I'm expecting is to things happen and change in a month, I'm gonna be completely frustrated, and it's not gonna happen. Probably not not even in 3 months. I'm gonna start probably getting results in 6 months. So that in my opinion is one of the main issues when we really talk about launching engagement programs within the organizations, or employee experience programs. It doesn't matter what name what name we're using, but it's really how you commit, which means that you need sponsorship. When we are talking about this initiative, if you really want them to succeed, you need sponsorship. Who needs to be the sponsor? I get this question a lot. Who needs to be the sponsor? I mean, ideally, the sponsor should be the number one in the company. So ideally, if the CEO is committed to this, even better. Does that mean that this has to be led by the CEO? Not always. I mean, we can have I don't know, a people manager in the organization, which is more than enough to sponsor this initiative for sure. But we definitely need that sponsorship in order to get a real buy-in into the whole thing. Because it takes some time. So that would be my my first takeaway of what I've seen. I don't know if you agree with this, Jonny.
100%. 100%, Bernardo. From the customers which I certainly speak to, I think that analogy of the gym is quite a good one, because I speak to customers, and let's be honest, hospitality is an industry which, on the whole, is a flexible industry. People, coming up with solutions the whole time. And one of the customers I spoke to recently had clearly invested into a platform to try and support this, but they only had 6% of their work actually download the app. So it just didn't have that launch where you wanted it to go to. It was that acknowledgement of that. Okay, we need to solve this, but it wasn't the right solution, or it wasn't implemented correctly. So I think that buy-in, that culture of investment into that tech, and investment into this is actually going to be what's going to change that culture is probably the number one most important part of it. And it doesn't have to be a MAPAL, it can be any sort of solution, but just make sure that you commit to it and you do it sort of fully to your full potential. So if we just sort of related then to a little bit more around what is the solution then, and in terms of your eyes then, Bernardo, in terms of the different elements, what would you say is the most important part? And maybe the screen might give it away a little bit, but what would you say is the most important part about sort of delivering?
Totally. I mean, the first question, right? Okay, I'm into this. Where do I start from? And my answer is always this: start where with what you already have, which is people tell me, no, we don't have employee experience. You always have an employee experience, which is the real experience your employees are having today as part of your organization. It can be a really bad experience. That's one of the main issues, that if you are not focusing on this, if you're not really taking it into consideration, they might have a bad experience. Or maybe you are an organization where things are happening in a good way and people are pretty satisfied. That can happen. So you really start. You used to start where you are today. That means that if you move to the next slide, what is really important is to understand what is important in terms of employee experience for real employees. If we take this analysis into consideration, which is done by McKinsey & Company, what we see, and it's really interesting, is that what employers feel or believe it's important for the employees, it's not what employees really feel that it's relevant for them. They really value things like we see here, being part of the organization, feeling valued, recognized. What's next for me in terms of Do I really have opportunities to develop my career here, to grow here, to learn here, to be trained here, and what about the people I work with? So they are a lot of human things, person related things. The ones that are really interested to see that the organization it's committed to that. Of course, people want a really flexible schedule and a good work-life balance, which I mean it's probably not the best industry to work on that. But the good news is that we have other items in which we can focus and work on to offer something different, different experience, and to start building some habits, if you will, which at the end of the day, it's what we want. We want to change organizations by building small habits that turn on being something bigger in terms of having a stronger culture, really being people centric, which is what we are looking for. Yeah. So if we keep moving. And I was saying that the good news is that this solution exists, that it's simple, but that it's not rocket science, but we have to commit. The really good news here is that if you are really able, to work things and improve the experience that your employees are having in your organization, things happen in it's magic. I mean, at the end of the day, better employee experience means customers have a greater experience, that's for sure. And at the end of the day, we don't have to explain what happy customers mean. And it's a whole loop. When everything is everybody's happier, everybody is levels of satisfaction are increasing. People want to stay. People even recommend your organization for others. We all know about somebody who is really happy in his or her job, and we will be even curious of work and in those organizations. So that's the really good news, that if we are able to commit and do the right things, we are going to be to really impact our business numbers, which at the end of the day is what we are looking for. So absolutely. Yeah, so how do we do this, right?
Yeah, so that's I think the most we understand. Yeah, there's a huge amount there. But
absolutely, yeah. So when we talk about engagement, we really want to focus in 4 main pillars. And just very quickly here, I love to say that when we started, Good Job as a platform, we were not even talking about engagement. It was not conceived as an engagement platform, which is great news because we were able to get there by doing other things. We started as a platform in which employees could get recognition from their peers or their customers. That was basically the idea. What happened is that people really love to get recognition. So what the insight that we got from many customers is, hey, my employees are really happy getting all these recognitions, and it's insane, how they go to their phones because they wanna keep up with all that content. So that was the first time that we realized, hey, we have a platform with a lot of engagement from our users, which are basically employees who really want to show their recognitions, to reply to the recognitions. Because at the end of the day, everybody feels good when they get recognition. That's real world. So that was how everything started there, and by doing recognition, we got a lot of engagement with the platform, and then is when we realized that, hey, since we have all these really active users, our customers were asking us, hey. Can we add something else? Can we send them some news or a video? Or it would be great, if we can connect other of our tools, training, feedback tools with this environment. And that's how we were able, to build something bigger in terms of a tool that today really covers recognition, feedback, communication, and training, and that has a lot to do with all those items that we were seeing that were relevant for people. When people get recognized, they feel they feel part of something. They really feel that what they are doing has a meaning. And one of the biggest frustrations you can find in people working is that it doesn't really matter if I do if I do things well or if I do it average. Nobody's looking at me. So in this way, it's a nice way to help people prove that hey, I'm not the average. I'm even above the average, and I want to feel that way. Also, people want to develop and improve their careers. For that, you need feedback and you need training. If you don't know what you are doing right, and also what you are not doing right, and where you need to improve, where you need to focus, that's feedback. And at the end of it, you need that ongoing feedback, which allows people to grow in that way. And of course, if we identify that there are certain issues where you need to improve, what better than having the right training in the same environment. So that's how you connect the dots in terms of communication, recognition, feedback, and training. And that's how in my opinion, my experience, you can really start moving the needle in terms of of engagement.
Yeah, 100%. I think just almost one more than that as well is the development opportunities that come with the training as well. I think certainly when I'm speaking to customers, that training element is great, as you sort of alluded to. You want to be able to move into that next role, and that training sort of can get you there. And I think the recognition piece, which is obviously what Good Job started at, is so important. I think hospitality in general is probably pretty bad at recognizing people that work 12-hour shifts on their feet for the majority of it, and then it's just I'll come back tomorrow and do it again, instead of actually being like, oh, do you know what, Bernardo, great job today, and actually sort of rewarding people for that recognition. I think it's definitely a sort of element which sort of need to be put together. So how does I guess the solutions which you're aware of, obviously we spoke a little bit about Good Job, but obviously how does this sort of bring into the element of MAPAL One as such?
Yeah, so I mean, what we are seeing right now in our screen, some of the solutions. When we talk about recognition, for example, how this the recognition tool works, quite easy. I mean, it's every single employee that you want to be part of the program, they have a certain number of recognitions that they can give per month, and you can set up if you want them to have 1, 3, 5, or whatever you want. It's not mandatory to recognize, which is really important. You can do it if you want. And you basically give a recognition link to a specific reason, which they are usually corporate values or certain skills that you want to emphasize within your organization. And you provide that recognition with the message why you are providing that recognition. And it's a direct recognition from peer to peer, which at the same time is public for the rest of the organization, or how you want to segment those timelines. But it's important to make this type of rewarding public in some way, because people are looking for that social recognition at the same time. So it's as easy as that, simple, fast, not mandatory, and even if you don't remember that, you can recognize. You have automatic notifications at the beginning, at the end of the month, just reminding you that you can do it. And numbers here are amazing. People love to recognize, love to be recognized. That's something really, really nice when you see it. Other stuff that we see here. If you need to ask your employees a very specific thing, you can set up a very, very simple survey and send your survey. And of course, we are always talking about mobile technology. That's absolutely key. We have to try to do things exactly the same way as real people do it in the real lives. when we started to do things, where what we realized is that HR tools were still very focused in desktop and dynamics that people don't use. So all these things need to be in that type of environment with that type of same content. For example, we recommend always our clients to try to communicate through video. I mean, we are used to communicate in our real lives using video, in WhatsApp or in other apps. So if you want your CEO, for example, to deliver a monthly or a weekly note with 5-minute information, try a video, a weekly video, and those are, you know, little things that people, it's like, wow, I mean, we are doing things in a different way, in a way more effective way, right? So if we keep moving, when we talk about retention, for example, we're talking about retention in with our flow training tool. I mean, all the fact that you have all those appraisals in which you really know how things are going, the career mapping, really important, because at the end of the day, if you want to progress, you need to be told, okay, what do I need to get there, rather than killing my manager. If I really want to become a manager tomorrow, what are you expecting from me? I should master this, that, and that, and here are the training options you should take if you want to be there, right? So again, easy way to do things. If we keep moving, one of in my opinion, you know, in terms of how, and just to wrap up, when we talk about you know, people strategies and engagement strategies, it's everything about content. What I was saying, it's not just what you want to deliver. It's how you help them to participate, to create content. Again, content relevant to them, as their recognitions, their feedback. That's content that is really relevant for them, not for us, which is very important. It has to be friendly in how you can how technology works, mobile, of course, and friendly in ways as I mentioned. If people is used to communicate by video, try it. I mean, try it. It's quite easy, and the tool helps you as sort of a WhatsApp, if you will. You have to be very consistent. To me, engagement means consistency. I've seen a lot of examples in which people start with something you know, really powerful that has to be fueled constantly. Otherwise, things can fall down for sure. And action. This is I think we can finish with this point, and we can share that very short video when we have some real examples of action. I mean, at the end of the day, via a tool like MAPAL One, you are creating a lot of data, really relevant people data in terms of who is the most recognized person in the organization. If we talk about teamwork, if we talk about I don't know, creativity, innovation, whatever is important for you. If we have that information, use it. Use it by rewarding people, celebrating people, creating content with those celebrations that you can share again through the tool in a very, you know, friendly video. Everything needs to be actionable, because at the end of the day, what you are generating here is data that you have to use, and using that data means some things like, if we move to the next one, I think we have a video there. Yeah, these are just some of the initiatives that we've seen in our clients in the past. Some of them we created with them. In terms of, again, use that data, and if you can use it weekly, it's better than use it monthly. And if you use it monthly, it's better than quarterly, because at the end of the day, it's constantly, you know. Again, if you have somebody who has been promoted to a manager based on their performance, on how well they've been on training, on, I don't know, you have a lot of data. So that's the key thing. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think almost one extra point to put onto that, Bernardo, is that customer journey as well. When you're thinking about the issue which I mentioned with the customer having 6% of the employees only downloading that app just because it was mainly a communication tool. you know, when you combine all four of those elements, you know, people have to go on to complete certain training straight up front in their induction. So that's almost the way to sort of get your teeth into your customer, into your employees. And then after that, you know, you've got that engagement, whether it's through recognition and getting that almost like Instagram-y, Facebook likes, you know, all those bits which sort of get that dopamine going. That's going to get people coming back to it and hopefully change the culture across all. So yeah,
Johnny, that's a great point, because it's usually harder to make people stay with you that arrive the first time. So once you make them arrive, the party has to be awesome. That's that's a takeaway. Yeah.
Absolutely, I think that's almost the perfect sentence to finish on there, Bernardo. Is once you've got that, you've got to make sure the party's good. So amazing. Look, thank you so much for coming on to today's webinar. I hope everybody watching has taken a little something away that might be useful in terms of how tech can improve some of those team challenges that we spoke about. But yeah, amazing. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate that. Bernardo, I appreciate your time as well.
Thanks,
and look out for our next webinar. Thank you very much, guys. Take care.